name is Kasbe. I'm the director of When Lambs Become Lions. This is my first feature film, and I'm in Zurich because it's playing in the documentary competition here.
Kuanzia mwanzo nilikuwa nimekwambia ni kama kipaji Mwenyezi Mungu amenipa. Ulimi ni tamu na pia natumia akili. Na naangalia ile kitu nafanya. Na pia roho yangu si ya kuogopa kitu.
When Lambs Become Lions is about two men on either side of the ivory trade. So we spent 4 years following an ivory dealer and a wildlife ranger. And what makes the story interesting is that these two men are actually cousins and in a lot of situations have to use each other to survive.
Boss, ndo kuingia kutoka msituni. Hebu nipatie kwanza biskuti moja kijana wangu kabla sijafika nyumbani. Alafu na bikiti.
The idea for the story changed quite a bit throughout the process, but at the beginning it started out with why do the poachers do what they do, and let's try to understand their motivations. I feel like there'd been a lot done on conservation and poaching, but very little done showing the perspective from the actual hunters. So at the beginning that's kind of what started it all, but over the years it grew and changed quite a bit. The first time I went to Kenya I was 12 years old, and I'd done 3 other projects in Kenya before this one. So I had a lot of friends there. And they were actually the ones at the very beginning that were urging me to come out and to meet the characters that ended up being the protagonists in the film. They felt like they had stories that needed to be heard, and they also felt like their perspective was one that wasn't shared often and rarely talked about. So X was the first one I met, and he's the ivory dealer. And going in I was quite nervous. I wasn't really sure what to expect. My expectations were totally flipped upside down. He was very warm, he was very charismatic, he was very interesting, and he didn't have the same sense of shame around hunting elephants that I thought he might. He was very matter-of-fact about it, he was very clear and honest and vulnerable when talking about it, and it left me in a place where I couldn't stop thinking about him and the things he shared with me on the first week of just, living with him. His father was killed by rangers when he was a child, and he saw this happen, and so it stuck with him, and he never feels like justice was ever served for that, and he doesn't feel like people talk about it, and just kind of got swept under the rug. So in a lot of the ways, being involved in this film was a way for him to set the record straight and to let people see what life is actually like for the men on the front lines of the situation. Inherently, when I'm embedded with the hunters, I'm going out on hunts with them and seeing them go after these elephants. And it's very dangerous in Kenya to do that. If a ranger sees you hunting an elephant, they can kill you on sight, no questions asked. And the Kenyan government just changed the law actually this year that if you get caught, it used to be that you went to jail for life, but now if you get caught, you get the death penalty. So it is very dangerous. At the same time, I will say that when the characters, the poachers in the film, would go on hunts, they planned their hunts very well. They were very meticulous and specific and intentional about where they went, when they did it, and who they were paying off along the way. Whereas the rangers, which is the other side of the story we follow, the rangers are oftentimes getting called into battles that they have no information about, and there's just live bullets flying all over the place, and it can be 3 in the morning. And I actually felt more dangerous in those situations with the rangers than I did with the poachers.
Hakuna mtu mimi anijui. Ni aje? Safi sana bro, mambo. Iwe mwizi, iwe ni askari, iwe ni malaya, iwe ni sijui shetani. Iwe. Waoga aje. Mzee wa nguvu humbwa hii. Bro. Kama mimi ndo mfalme. Unanipata?
So the first time they saw it, it was a very emotional screening. It was the first time they'd seen the last 4 years of their life compressed into a 78-minute experience. And so there was crying, there was laughing, it hit the whole spectrum of emotions for them. But at the end of the conversation, they were very much so in support of the film being made and the film being seen, and they wanted to do whatever they could to help people, see it and understand what their life is like. Fast forward almost a year later to last night, where they saw it in a theater for the first time with an audience. Was surreal, and afterwards they came up for a Q&A and they spoke about it and talked about what the process was like for them and what they learned from it. And it's really special. It's really cool to have them here and to have them, you know, being able to interact with the communities. They're embracing the film and are actually thinking about it, because it's the kind of film that it's not simple and it's not clear. It's very nuanced and it's very complicated. And to engage with it at the deep level that it asks you to engage at it, you have to think pretty hard. So it's really cool being in Zurich and having such an intelligent audience that was willing to do that.